Good evening and welcome. My name is Habiba Zakzak, welcoming you to yet another episode of the program Service to Humanity. In this episode, we shall continue with our review of activities of the ministry as we look at the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, an initiative implemented under the National Social Investment Program. Since the program started, quite a lot has been achieved in terms of nutrition, school enrollment, as well as increased economic activities. However, the ministry has taken steps to institutionalize the program while increasing efficiency and monitoring. Some of these steps we shall see in our review. And like we have done in the last couple of weeks, we shall keep track of the nationwide trainings ongoing under the Npower with an update of automobile training going on in Apo Abuja. Details of this when the program commences fully after the break.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to the plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving the food, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food they eat.
To make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, meat and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
Service to Humanity kicks off with news from the Management Diary. In the news tonight, GIZ seeks partnership with the Ministry on social programs. Let's take details of this and other stories in our Management Diary. Keep watching.
To establish a steering committee at the state level.
The GIZ International Appraisal Mission team has recently paid a courtesy visit to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to seek out collaborative measures to partner with the ministry in providing social protection in the northeastern region of Nigeria. Leader of the delegation, Sabine Kalebu, while stating the purpose of the visit, disclosed that the European Union is working on a partnership with GIZ to provide social protection for victims affected by insurgency in Nigeria.
We are here today because we have been approached by the delegation of the European Union because they also would like to work more on social protection, and they would like to partner with GIZ to implement social protection measures in Nigeria, specifically in the northeast region. This is because the GIZ projects, which is called SEPIN, Socioeconomic Integration of IDPs, returnees and host communities, is currently active in Adamawa, and in a previous phase was also working in Borno. So we are thinking of again extending our support to Borno.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Dr. Nasir Sanogwarzo, who received the delegation on behalf of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, expressed the ministry's delight in venturing into the partnership. He said that the collaboration will aid the ministry reach out to more Nigerians who are in need of government's intervention. He also highlighted other agencies and departments that need the intervention and collaboration of GIZ.
Both the IDPs and the refugees face another major problem: landmines. They face the problem of explosive ordinances. And at the end of the day, the land release process that we undertake to make sure that the land is safe for them to go back to their homelands, it's a problem that was thought to be a military endeavor. But now we have taken it over as a humanitarian mine action program. And I'm happy the director of that program is here seated with us. We have a huge challenge. On the average, one person is killed every week in Nigeria as a result of explosives. And we just think of Northeast. Still, the Civil War ordinances that were buried in the Southeast, some of them still persist. So we have a huge task ahead of us. If there is an area you can support us in such area, please feel free to do so. We have so many other areas.
Speaking earlier, National Coordinator, National Social Investment Programs, Dr. Umar Bindir, while welcoming the delegation, highlighted the NSIP as a program created to provide better living standards for the poor and vulnerable across Nigeria.
I'm happy to report, under the guidance of the Permanent Secretary, that we have managed to build a system from scratch. We've now got automatically, but what is empowering us now is Mr. President himself said, if I graduate and leave my administration with the program still being a program, it might fizzle out. So he has approved for a law establishing the social investment program. It has passed through the National Assembly, and gradually now they're cleaning up the law, and he will sign it in the next few weeks, and then we will exist as an agency. So all the bits and pieces that we've been able to do will now be powered under an agency, and therefore we can be able to partner with you with confidence, with strength, so that all the goodies that you have in terms of cash and kind, technical support, capacity building, monitoring and evaluation capacity, and ICT application, all that will fit with the NSRP, just like it will fit with many of the programs of the ministry.
The meeting ended with an interactive session on ways both organizations can work to provide social development for the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria.
Welcome back. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program is a category under the National Social Investment Program. Its implementation is domiciled and monitored by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Under this program, quite a lot has been achieved, even as the ministry is putting machinery in motion to ensure that it continues to run seamlessly. Join me in our next segment as we review the intervention as well as highlight major milestones in the implementation of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Do stay tuned.
The National Homegrown School Feeding Program of the federal government is one of the components of the National Social Investment Program. The program has three broad objectives, namely, to boost nutritional status, encourage enrollment, as well as promote local economic activities. With the creation of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and the subsequent movement of the NSIPs under its purview, the ministry took over the coordination of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program and expanded its scope to cover more states.
With over 8.4 million eggs consumed weekly and 94 metric tons of fish.
Early 2020, the school feeding program was flagged off in the FCT by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. However, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic saw schools being closed down to prevent the spread of the virus. And while children were at home, pupils in three frontline states, namely Lagos, Ogun, and the FCT, received dry rations as part of the school feeding program. However, with a return to normal school attendance, the school feeding program recommenced. The recommencement of the National Homegrown was symbolically flagged off in the FCT by the Minister, Sadia Umar Farouk, at a ceremony to hand over cooking utensils and aprons to facilitate smooth operation of the program. In view of the strategic impact of the NSIPs, President Muhammadu Buhari in 2021 directed the expansion of the social investment programs, with the school feeding program expected to be expanded by an additional 5 million pupils. Following that, the ministry has continued to evolve ways as well as enter into partnerships to strengthen and sustain the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. There are yearly review meetings with stakeholders to address challenges and recommend ways forward.
Inaugurate this team.
In 2021, The ministry also inaugurated an interministerial multi-sectorial committee to streamline roles of collaborators and ensure cohesion. Still towards ensuring efficient implementation of the homegrown school feeding program, the ministry in 2021 embarked on a nationwide enumeration exercise with the following objectives: verify and update existing data that will assist the ministry in its assessment of the impact of the program, foster transparency and accountability, and put in place a sustainable plan for enrolling pupils into the homegrown school feeding program.
Left thumbprint first.
2022 saw the ministry consolidating on the gains of the school feeding program through various partnerships, meetings, and drafting of institutional frameworks. A 2-day national consultative meeting on public food procurement in the context of Nigeria's National Homegrown School Feeding Program was organized early 2022. It was in collaboration with Resolve to Save Lives, RTSL, an international organization, and had the objective of putting together the implementing team to discuss issues that had to do with food procurement. National Coordinator of the NSIPs, Engineer Umar Binder, represented the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk.
This particular consultative meeting on public food procurement and many other issues that you will discuss is just to add value to what you know already. And I hope if we continue at this pace, we will quietly put NSIP as the major legacy of Mr. President. We don't have time, but it can be done.
What we are here to do is looking at guidelines that have been developed globally. I think that's one of the drivers to globally to improve nutrition, healthy nutrition. One, our focuses are around reducing trans fat, which is a fat that is unhealthy. Our focus is around salt reduction to make sure that the food that people consume have low salt value. Our focus is also ensuring that people who have high blood pressure are well treated.
The ministry in 2022 also mounted a capacity building workshop for program managers and program officers of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program in order to explore supply chain management. The ministry also considered and authenticated a nutrition guidelines manual while fine-tuning the National Homegrown School Feeding Policy.
We're now going to be discussing about the dashboard design.
Furthermore, a dashboard was designed to give the National Homegrown School Feeding Program total visibility, big-time savings, seamless reporting, a collaborative workspace, and easy consolidation of the gains so far realized.
This dashboard is giving you first-hand information about the program itself. For example, the homegrown school feeding. If you have a secondary school where we have the feeding taking place, just by clicking on the dashboard, on the location of the school, the point location of the school, you have all the information, starting from the cooks, the number of people, and the way that the feeding is taking place in that at a particular point of time, in time or not.
It is a great pleasure for me to be here today.
The ministry also celebrated the 7th Africa Day for School Feeding in partnership with the World Food Programme, WFP, and the support of other partners.
I wish to also use this opportunity to commend AUDA NEPAD for the development and successful launch of the AUDA NEPAD guidelines for designing and implementing school feeding program in Africa.
The event featured an awareness road work along Alex Ekweme Road, Jabi, Abuja, to LEA Primary School, Jabi, Abuja, where the day was marked with a celebration.
2, 1. Very good. Thank you.
No doubt, the school feeding program is doing well in terms of the impact on the lives of the children. Little wonder then that the United Nations World Food Programme has continued to deepen its partnership with Nigeria in improving school feeding in Nigeria. Along these lines, the ministry received digital equipment from the UNWFP comprising laptops and tablets. The UNWFP also presented a publication of the joint assessment of the National Homegrown School Feeding Programme that was conducted by it and the ministry.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just joining us, the program is Service to Humanity. In our last segment of the program, we shall be looking at the training for N-Skills beneficiaries in automobile repairs currently ongoing in Apo Abuja. This is part of a grand design to empower youth with both handiwork and entrepreneurial training towards self-reliance economically, all in line with lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Keep watching.
First and foremost, when we talk about transmission.
This is Aliko Automobile Limited, Apo Abuja, one of the training centers for N-Skills trainees in the Federal Capital Territory, where N-Skills beneficiaries are being trained on automobile repairs. Training began for these trainees about a month ago.
The N-Skill program is sponsored by the Federal Government of Nigeria through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. I happen to be one of the trainers under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management.
You must determine that, see, I want to add value and I must give the best of service.
Every day, N-Skills trainees are being carried through a classroom session where they are taught on entrepreneurship as well as other aspects of owning a business.
Today we are talking about a business plan, components of a business plan, and some general tips in writing a good business plan. So we did establish that a business plan is like a working tool for any good business. So it's also very good. It's also very good that as a business plan, you should have all the key components, which is, of course, you have to be realistic. You must have a vision that even led you to that business in the first place. It's quite interactive. The students like the fact that they should be able to write a business plan, a simple business plan by themselves that will guide them even for the future.
After the classroom session, trainees are taken to the workshop for practicals.
At the practical aspect, we cover types of automobiles. We define automobiles and we cover types of automobiles, and we now go further to itemize the parts of an automobile engine, parts of an automobile, and we now go ahead to even show them how to service your transmission, and we now go forward to even teach them how to diagnose vehicle, which is the most important aspect of automobile, because without doing that, most of the latest vehicles on board now, you cannot touch them because they are highly electrical. So before we start working on such vehicles, we need to diagnose the vehicles and fetch out the causes of the problem of the vehicles. Then we go forward to what we call troubleshooting, which I've taught them how to troubleshoot.
20 trainees were posted to Aliko Automobile for apprenticeship, 18 of which have resumed.
Attendance has been awesome. I was surprised that out of the 20 students that we were expecting, most of them, they are available. They always come for their classes, which is commendable. And I see the desire to learn, even though most of them are unlearned, they are uncultured, but from the sessions that we've had, we'll try to make them how to stay focused and doing the right thing, even at the right time. The students appreciate it, and for some, they came because tools will be given and some funds will be given. We also try to correct the impression that is to make you a better person overall and not just the stipends that will be given even after the program. So it's commendable.
I noticed that there are some among them that have interest on the automobile. And there are one little of them that they are just here. They don't even have interest on the automobile. But I've been trying to persuade them, to tell them that, look, When you have this in your head, it will help you to generate money tomorrow, to help you to earn a living. You don't wait for government to come and give you a job always. When you have this, you can sit down and work for people and make your money.
Both trainers commend the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs for the N-Skills program.
The program is powered, the training is powered by Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and I feel that our youth really need this, because from my interaction at the first week, it shows that so many of them are just going into business just to feed. So nothing like adding value to others. And this we have tried to correct the orientation, reorientate them on the perspective or the perception to life, which is first of all adding value and customer satisfaction. So I feel that such program is commendable, and I encourage that it should be done over and over again, so as to assist even the younger ones to have the best skill possible.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management have done well by creating this opportunity for Nigerians, most especially those that are jobless, to have something doing and to be technically powered. So my advice to them is they should keep it up, and they should try their possible best to make sure they increase on it, because it will go a very long way. Because some of our children, some of them, when they graduate from secondary school, they don't even have work. Some are not even opportune. They don't have parents that are going to, some of them, their parents don't even have money to send them to university and so on. So doing this will help them to get something doing.
Beneficiaries of the training also express their gratitude to the ministry for the opportunity to learn a skill.
I got to know about the Npower training. There was a friend of mine who gave me the information, and he sent the code to me that there was. So, and he sent the code to me. He told me that there was a program that is, there is this advertisement of Npower that if I could apply. I said, okay, no problem. Though initially I doubted, but later on I applied, and I feel the information is there. So, believing God, I just said, let me give it a try. So, believing God. To my greatest surprise, one of the day I just had a call. Someone called me that am I so person. I said yes. He said, okay, that I should come with my CVs, and they fill in some forms that have been enrolled into the Npower program.
They share their experiences undergoing the training.
The training has been very, very good. In fact, what I've learned here is even beyond what I expected, understand? Because first time when I came, I thought it was just about automobile, but during in our class, they taught us so many things about life, how you could relate with people, and also how you can interact with people and do businesses. You understand, the skills, how you can acquire skills, and so many other things. In fact, they taught us about life generally, so how you can handle issues.
Very, very good experience. Before, I know nothing about automobile. Actually, whenever I see engine, I'm afraid, because the thing looks so cumbersome. I don't even know where not and all those things is. But from the theoretical aspect that we have been taught so far, we were able to categorize the classes each of those engines fall at, and he was able to itemize, if you see this thing, this is where the classes it fall to other ones. So I was able to get some idea, okay, if I see this also thing, this is where he falls, this is him, and if the issue come up, how you can be able to first identify and find the solution for it. So far so good. I enjoyed the class, and it was very good to go.
Some of them share their future plans after the training.
The plan here is, after the 2 months, hopefully I could apply in Aliko Autos. Maybe if he will accept me as an apprenticeship. Probably I could learn for some few extra months. Then if possible, I'm through with the learning. So probably I can start something from here.
Thank you for staying with us through this edition of the program Service to Humanity. I will come your way again next week, same time, same station, with another exciting package from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. But before then, do well to catch up on this and other episodes of our program on any of our social media platforms showing on your screens. Bye for now.